Hey, Scott Jordan here for the Thursday, June 4th COVID video update. And I'm calling this one the recap video because, it's been 3 months since we started. We started February 7th, including this video. We'll have 13 videos we've done each week. And we have 18,000 views, so thank you very much for kind of going viral. I guess I'm famous within this little environment of the video sphere here. So let's start from the beginning, and then if you want to watch all the individual videos, there'll be a link at the end of this one to tell you where it is. But I'm going to go through kind of the key points that we've traversed through for the last 3 months. First off, masks. We started out with this kind of mask, and we had masks that we bought online, different styles. And now we've kind of all settled into if it's not a big fashion statement type one where you change it every day. This is my preferred mask. It's nice and soft, it's easy to wash, feels comfortable, doesn't mess up my ears. So now our new world is we're used to masks where before we weren't. A lot of dispute about people that want to wear masks, people that don't want to wear masks, but certainly understand that. The next big thing was what actually kills COVID-19. Now that we've kind of got into it back in February and things were really going crazy, the EPA didn't have a clear understanding of what killed it, what didn't. They did have a thing in place, emerging pathogen rules that allowed you to make claims against COVID-19. But early on, people were assuming if it kills the human coronavirus, it killed COVID-19. And that wasn't actually the case. So at the very beginning, people were saying follow the dwell time involved for human coronavirus or some other pathogen, and that'll kill COVID-19. Took about a week or two for the EPA to kind of figure out that that wasn't the case. They wanted to be more conservative, so they took one of the longer dwell times for certain viruses to pinpoint what the specific time is. And then they finally clarified it on the website. So if you do a Google search on EPA End List, you can see now it's pretty easy. You get the registration number off of the product, which is required by law. You can put it in there, and it'll tell you what the dwell time is specific to that registration. Our Spray and Go is one of the shorter ones at 5 minutes. Most of the other products, after this all got settled out, are at 10 minutes. So that was a very good clarifying thing, but it did take, about 2 or 3 weeks until they finally figured out what the real dwell time was. And I talked a lot to our competition about how they were stating what their dwell times were based on what they thought the interpretation of the rules were. And we had some difference of opinion, but it all shaked out to what we have now. Then it was all about washing hands. People didn't even know how to wash their hands, how long you're supposed to wash them. Did it matter what kind of soap? We got some sage advice from, at this time, it was Mr. Trump, not President Trump. And what did you say?
Try to avoid shaking hands whenever possible.
That's a good way not to worry about washing your hands. Thank you very much. And good to see you're wearing your face mask again, even though you hardly ever do it. So we figured out the washing the hands part. The next thing was purchasing habits. People went crazy buying toilet paper, as much toilet paper as they could. People probably have enough toilet paper in their house now to last them for years. Some point that whole market's going to crater because nobody's going to need toilet paper to the degree because they already have years of it stockpiled at their house. That kind of led to weird purchasing issues with allocations. We had allocations from the raw material suppliers. We had allocation from things like I showed you in one of the videos about the fact that we couldn't get white caps, so we had to use yellow, green, black caps, whatever caps we have. That's still somewhat of an issue, but not quite as bad as it was before. Then we get into what I like to call germ scamming. Back in the day when green products were really big or just kind of kicking off, there was a term called green washing. So I've come up with a new term called germ scamming. So germ scamming is where somebody makes up a false claim, and those of you that have been following the videos know that I called out a number of companies, particularly Southwest Airlines, that stated on their website that they were using a disinfectant spray that had no residual claims at all because they were nice enough to tell me what the product was. I looked it up, read the label, has no residual claims. But they were making a claim of 30-day residual claim. It took them about 2 weeks, but thank you, Southwest, you finally removed that. And then that got me to discuss things like integrity and honesty, and that's where the bow tie comes in. Those of you that know my dad, Dick Jardin, or knew my dad, Dick Jardin, he was known for this kind of tie. This is one of his ties. And I use this tie when I explain the difference between what one company does and another company does, or a personal statement as far as things like this. So germ scamming really comes into where somebody implies their product does something that it doesn't do, and that's not good. It's not good for the reputation of the person or the company, and it just overall gives a false sense of security for the general public. So my dad was always into maintaining an honest relationship and being trusted in the marketplace. So I'm using the tie again to illustrate that. Then the next step we got into was electrostatic sprayers. Can you use them? Can you not use them? For a while there, it was like, oh my gosh, everybody was saying use electrostatic sprayers. Somebody at EPA decided to weigh in saying you cannot use a disinfectant either through a electrostatic sprayer or through a fogger unless it's specifically stated on the label. Those were the rules prior to COVID, and they were the rules until they changed the rules. And they essentially didn't actually clarify the rules. They just said, we don't know if a product, EPA product used through electrostatic sprayers really work or not. So they kind of left it up to the businesses. We've posted a document saying that our product, Spray and Go, is effective through electrostatic sprayers based on our current information that we've got. So that was about a 2-week, 3-week period there. So that kind of gives us an update as to where we are now on this week of June 4th. And hopefully if you've gotten some clarity out of these videos. I've gotten a lot of comments about people saying it's really helped them out, understanding what the rules were. A lot of people were thinking they could use disinfectants through foggers, which still isn't acceptable. We do not recommend our products, any of our EPA products, be used through a fogger, because that's, in our opinion, different than electrostatic sprayers. But if you want to get more info on watching the previous videos, that'll be at the end here. But I want to thank all the customers, all the people that have tuned in for these videos, as well as the Bullen employees that have helped produce millions of dollars worth of disinfectant products over the last 3 months. And we've hoped that has helped make the work environment, home environment safe for everybody. So thanks again for tuning in, and see you next week.